Coaches, if you ever wonder what it really takes to run the Grinnell system at the high school level, today's video is going to break it all down for you. I'm joined by Roger Holmes, and he's going to walk us through exactly how he builds his system team from the ground up. We're talking player expectations, coach expectations, the non-negotiable goals you have to chase every single night, and what a true Grinnell style practice actually looks like. Let's dive in.
We went 80 field goal attempts instead of 94 or 100. We upped our attempts to 60%. We just wanted to really emphasize we needed more threes. Offensive rebound 35%, force 26 turnovers, and shoot 25 more shots. And on the right was the actual per game averages. We ended up shooting 56.2% of our field goal attempts from the three-point line. And we get 38% offensive rebounds and 32 forced turnovers in a 32-minute game. So that showed where we got our shots, what kind of effort it took to get those extra shots off all those offensive rebounds. Our scoring formula on the left this is what we thought before the year. If we could do these things, we would score 86 points a game. We got on the actual per game, we ended up with 87 a game. We got it in a little bit different way, but we didn't shoot a great percentage on threes, but it was our volume and our offensive boards were just out of control. So it got us to a little over 87 points a game. So the goals we had were taken straight from Grinnell, just pared down a little bit for high school, but we upped the number of the percentage of 3-point shots attempted, just to get it in our guys' head that that's what we were really going for. Just a season recap, you can check out that later. Points per game, where we were in California, where we were in the country. One of the craziest ones, I think, is in 2007, 2008, the very bottom one. We took 97 3-point shots in a game. And for 32 minutes, that's getting shots up. And that game, we broke our own record at 29 threes made in a game. That was a wild one. So just to give you an idea, Andy was our stat guy. If you want to hire him out, maybe he would do it. I don't know, but he was keeping stats in real time on the bench, and I could never do anything like that. And we got to halftime of that game, and he said, "Hey, we've taken 44 threes." And I'm like, "What are you talking?" Or no, first he said, "You want to go for it?" And I said, "What?" And he said, "We've taken 44 threes, and the record was 92." And so the message coming out of the huddle the second half was, there's no shots that aren't three-pointers. So we took three-pointers the entire second half and ended up getting there. So that was a pretty special night. There's going to be some ugly moments, and if you can weather those storms, you're going to be fine. A great example of that is that piece that Fox Sports did. Well, they came to our game on the night that we had the possibility to break the California state record for threes in a game. Tons of people there, cameras are there, all the papers are there. 3.5 minutes in, we're down 17-0. And it's just like, you could feel people going, what the heck is happening? And 1.5 shifts later, the game was tied. Our one kid, number 35, you'll see on some of the videos, he had a 9-point shift himself, and another guy made a 3. So we had a 12-point, 40-second shift, and then the next group caught fire, and it was 21-all by the end of the quarter. So coaches have to be completely all in. You get down 15-0, you can't look at each other and say, this doesn't work. That can't be a part of your idea. So you got to be knowledgeable, you got to be excited to do it. Check out the videos, check out books on the system. And again, this is Grinnell. For me, Grinnell is the way to do it. Players need to be on it completely as well. Just unwavering in their sacrifice. We had a kid who played basketball 2 years, was the football quarterback, didn't play his junior year. And we talked to him in the spring, said, look, here's what we're doing. We need a guy who doesn't care about shooting. We need a guy who's a leader, who's really tough, who can be a kid that everyone in his group looks to. That guy is relentless. And he said, Coach, I'm in. And he was one of the big keys for us. Even though every time he shot, we kind of held our breath. He didn't shoot much, but he did the exact thing that we needed. And then parents, you run Princeton, you run LMU, you run Grinnell. If things are going good, the parents are in. We were lucky. We had some kind of basketball parents, not helicopter parents, but some guys that really understood what we were doing, and they kind of led us through that. So we really didn't have a lot of issues with any of those things. So the practice, and when we talked about that the other night, I was like, oh God, I don't remember. Then Andy and I, we were talking, and again, this whole week's been fun going over this stuff and kind of reliving what we were doing. Every day, I think we did the 100 shots every day. We pushed back our lower level practices about a half hour, so we could get that in. And I know some places that might be hard to do. We had a 3-court gym, and we were able to do it. And Tom recorded those every single day, and so guys knew where they were at. Another question the other night was, well, how do you decide who your primary shooters are? And for the most part, if you had a group of kids and said, okay, who's the best shooter in this group? They know. Yeah, they know. And then if you're doing those every day, you have numbers to show it. Andy did a lot of stuff with our point guards, a lot of full court finishing drills that they weren't too fired up about every day, but they were pushing the ball full court, finishing at the rim. They had to, and sprint back, and we did most of our conditioning on the court. We did just a ton of stuff on the court where we were just going full bore on all these different things. The LMU cycle break that they did, the 5 trips, every player gets 1 shot, and you got to do it in 28 seconds. Really tough, but you make a couple of those, and you can really get in on it. To do our numbers on breaks, we do 4-on-2, 5-man weave, 3-on-2 back. A couple of different drills we did: 5-ball shooting and 4-ball shooting. Both, I think Steve Alford used a lot of those things. And then of course we did a lot of 5-on-0. A lot of 5-on-0 stuff, like ending the break, going into one of the questions was, well, if your primary shooter doesn't shoot it, then what happens? And that was a great question for us. If our primary shooter didn't get it, it was a lot of dribble and pitch, dribble handoff, that kind of thing. But when you do all your 5-on-0 stuff, you always end the offensive drill on a 3-pointer, and then quickly get into your defensive spots. And so if a guy shot a 3 and missed, we get the offensive rebound, kick it back out to him, shoot it again, and then put it in and get to your press position real quick. One thing that we didn't do, what Grinnell and Coach Smith did a lot, was their presses may have been a little different on makes and misses, and their breaks were different. Ours were the same. We didn't want to make anything too complicated. So our made basket break, our getting scored on or getting a rebound, our break was exactly the same. Really worked on our guys getting the ball out quickly and pushing the ball before. So there'll be sometimes on some of the videos, our primary is kind of not in the right spot just because of a steal or something, but guys knew where to find them. And we wanted 2 on the ball at all times. The interceptor, the middle guy, had to really be super active, talking, and the safety had to be talking a lot to make sure guys knew what was coming up from behind. One of the guys the other night wasn't sure what a lag pass was when Gary was talking about. We don't want any passes to go from the rim towards half court once the other team has crossed half court. So nothing going backwards, everything moving towards the rim. We would guard the sideline out of bounds pushing people towards their basket. We didn't want them to throw it back the other way.
If you want to go even deeper on the Grinnell system, we've got you covered. Inside the system basketball community, on demand, we have over 20 clinics breaking down every angle of the system: philosophy, practice plans, rotation, pressing, shooting, everything. So if you're serious about running the Grinnell system or leveling up your pace and space game, jump in and check out the full library. I'll drop the link below. Thanks for watching, coaches. We'll see you on the next one.